compensating with action what you didn't do with your vibration.
Yeah.
We're not talking about action, we're talking about effort, because action can be inspired and blissful. But that thing that humans usually mean when they say effort, that's what you do when, instead of tuning in and calibrating and letting the universe and the law of attraction do all the heavy lifting, you're trying to do it with your own physicality. And it works pretty good for a while, because you can offer enough action to take care of most things that you need to take care of. But the bigger your life gets, the less able you are to tend to it through action and effort. The more important it is for you to utilize the leverage of calibration. Yeah. You think, because you're accustomed to statistics and laws of averages and things like that, you think that the bigger the dream, the more the effort. And that's what causes most people to hold back from big dreams, because they just get tired. But it's because they're offering action with resistance. When your action isn't resistance laden, then effort isn't a factor, and then you're just eager to get into it. If something physical is happening, Esther had a very sore foot, and there was no logical reason for it, in the sense that there was no event that happened. But after a little while, we were able to help her see that she was trying to manage too much with her own physical beingness. She wasn't getting out ahead of it with her thoughts as much as she knows that she can. And so she was depending too much on action, and that was what got her out of balance. It wasn't that she used her body up, not in that sense, but it's that when you have tools and you don't use them, and you know that you have tools that you could use, you're very hard on yourself when you revert to less effective things. That's what we're talking about here. What's happening to you is that you're not enjoying the becoming. You're not going to be happy until it has become. Mm-hmm. And when you're oriented like that, then everything that hasn't yet come into being is bothering you, which keeps it from coming into being. You've got to start enjoying the journey and stop trying to get to where you think you're going. And usually when that's happening, it's because you feel like you're letting somebody else down, or because you're letting somebody else's expectations of you sort of drive you rather than your own desire call you. And it usually doesn't just start with current relationships. It's been going on most of your life. It was this person and this person and this person. Usually it's very deep rooted. Most of your troubles that you're experiencing right now started when you were 7. If you could go back to what you were living then and think about who was in your face then, that's where it started usually. Now, not every time, but that's a pretty average. Since then, you've been trying to prove something to somebody and something to somebody and something to somebody. It's time to just leave them out of the equation for a while and just find your alignment. It's not an easy thing to all of a sudden stop doing. People take pride in being counted on. They take pride in being accountable. They take pride in standing out. There are a lot of things that you've calibrated to that seem like the right thing to do if you want to be an upstanding citizen in a healthy environment. But most of that stuff, your knowledge and who you are, is becoming such a big part of who you are that you are now having to come to terms with the fact that you can't live the big life that you're asking for in the way that you've been doing it. Something's got to shift. And what it is you got to get out ahead of it, and you've got to understand that it's vibration. You got to understand that it's about emotions. You got to understand it's about thoughts, that it's about alignment, and it's about cooperative components. Now, fixate on that word, cooperative components. Cooperative components mean that there are all kinds of people, events, animals, circumstances around you who are cooperating with you all the time, depending upon what your vibration is that you're offering. First thing we want to say, as you focus upon the idea of cooperative components, is that they are here to cooperate with you because you never intended to accomplish all that you want to accomplish on your own. Humans teach yourselves that in the religious rhetoric of proving worthiness. Got to prove your worthiness. Got to pay the price. And so you work hard from a position of not allowing yourself to be a cooperative component and not allowing the other cooperative components to cooperate with you. Is this ringing some bells with all of you?
Oh, yeah.
So I got to prove my worthiness through my sacrifice and hard work. Someone said to Esther not too long ago, can I do such and such, because if I don't do it this way, it'll be really hard for me. Esther was flinching. It was like she was being shot with a BB gun. And then Esther said, is there any other reason? Oh yeah, it'd be really fun in this way and this way and this way. And that's the answer I'm looking for. Don't sacrifice for me ever, ever. This is a cooperative universe. If I don't get it from you, I'll get it from someone else. Never sacrifice for me. Never sacrifice. Because that doesn't make anything happen. And yet, if you don't know how to hook into your true power, and you don't know where the true cooperation is, then you run around telling lies to each other. I'll help you if you'll help me. And then you're mad at everybody because nobody ever gives you back as much as you think you're putting out. And it's all bogus anyway. So the law of attraction is you attracting. What's your point of attraction? Others, what's their point of attraction? Sometimes what you attract from each other is unpleasant experience. Sometimes what you attract from each other is pleasant experience. It's not your job to get them all to be the offerers of pleasant experiences. Have you ever been a pleaser? Esther is. Have you ever been a pleaser who cares deeply about those around you, and then found yourself in a room with two people who want two different things from you? Esther spent a little time with two little grandchildren who she adores, or she adored them more before she spent time with them. The vibrational version in her mind is blissful. But on this particular day, because of the shortness of the time that they were together, each of them wanted her undivided attention. And they are far enough in difference in age that they don't really want to do the same thing. So Esther would suggest something, and one of them would say, yay, and the other one would say, boring. And Esther thought, I can't win here. I'm going to please one or the other of them. Whatever will I do? And then she decided to please herself. So she said, tell you what, I'm just going to do what I think is most fun. And anybody who wants to come with me, come on. It's the only answer. How do you please them unless there's only one? And even then, that one is fickle. Have you noticed? So have you ever lined yourself up to particularly please another, and then they go through some sort of transformation and they want something different from you? You keep standing on your head to try to please them. Do you know the majority of trouble that goes on in your world and in your individual lives is because you're looking for love in all the wrong places? You're looking for approval in all the wrong places. You're looking for guidance in all the wrong places. It exists in only one place. It is the relationship between you and you. And you can count on that every single time, because you were source energy before you came into this body. You had already become the synthesizing evidence and culmination of all of that magnificent life. You were pure, positive energy before you came into this body. And every moment that you've been here, you're asking for more improvement. And the source within you takes the best of what you ask for and holds it as the standard for you to make your way to. Sometimes people say, oh, if I just please myself, or if others just please themselves, would it not be a world of chaos? And we say, it would be a world of alignment. It would be a world of empowerment. It would be a world of security. You act out, you murder each other, you try to control one another, you abuse one another from your insecurity, not from your security. You are mean to each other from your place of hatred, not from your place of love. It is your disconnection with who you are that causes you to act out in all of those abhorrent ways. You do not need to worry about your world getting worse if you selfishly choose alignment with Source. And the good news is you don't have to wait for everybody else to figure it out, because law of attraction will help you achieve only the world that is a vibrational match to the vibrations that you practice and make chronically your own. It's not possible for someone to assert a negative experience into your experience. There is no law of assertion. This universe is based upon attraction. It's only inclusion based, which means you get what you think about. You get what you vibrate. We're just here to remind you, you might want to practice more. You might want to clean up your vibration. You might want to talk more about what you do want and less about what you don't want, because you know what most of you are doing? You're doing some of both, which means you're getting some of both. And you're getting a lot more of what you don't want than you deserve or than you want. And it's because we love you very much, you're sloppy with your thinking. It's because we love you very much, you don't care enough about how you feel. You gave that up early on when your mother said, care about how I feel. And we want you to leave here sort of with a new intention that says, it matters how I feel, and I'm working on how I feel, because I'm going to feel myself into alignment with who I really am. And you know what happens when you feel yourself into alignment with the source, with the God, with the spirit, with the furthest, most expanded version of who you are? You know what happens when you align with that? Oh, you are harnessing the power that creates worlds. Your leverage is enormous. The cooperative universe stampedes around you. You find people just knocking themselves out, people who are vibrationally equivalent to that which you are. When a bunch of you who are in the vortex, rendezvous, and law of attraction make sure you do, you have a thrilling, progressive, productive, effective experience. But when a bunch of you rendezvous outside the vortex, you have an argumentative, uncomfortable, disorganized, unproductive, miserable experience, you see. So some of you say, well, yeah, that's where I work. I work there. And how can I be different than where I work? And we say, by taking the bounce, by whenever your environment shows you something that you don't want, and it will all day, every day, there is an equivalent bounce to that, because the other side of the vibrational wave is always present. So when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And when you really know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. When you sort of know what you don't want, you sort of know what you do want. It's always an equivalent bounce. So when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. Then what you want to do, and you'll get better and better at it every day you try, you want to turn your attention to what you do want. Why do you want it? What would that feel like? In other words, you want to think more about what you do want and justify less why you want it. Because every moment of justifying or rationalization or defending is on the wrong side of the bounce. So you take the bounce, and what we want you to understand is those bounces are essential to the expansion of all that is. In other words, you came expressly to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want, because the expansion of the universe, the evolution of the source within you, is about this leading edge sifting, sorting process that you are all involved in. Humans have got it all wrong so much of the time when they believe that God is perfect and has sent you to figure out how to become perfect too. It's not like that. You are source energy here as creators, expanding the universe, expanding that which is source. And when you explore and ask, source expands immediately and calls you to the expansion also. And when you go, you love the process of going even more than the process of getting there. Moving in the direction of who you have become is the ecstasy. It's the passion of life. When you get there, you get another bounce, you see. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. We've been out on the leading edge today in a number of different segments, taking thought beyond that which it has been before, and fulfilling the satisfaction that we reach for as we participate with you. We know that as a result of the lives that you are living, that you are putting new solutions, new answers, and new clarity into the vortex. And we receive the benefit of what you put there incrementally as you put it there. So we're feeling satisfaction all day, every day, as your problems and questions queue up, because the solutions and answers queue up for us, and the cooperative components are assembled. But when we come together in an atmosphere like this, where you come with still some of your problem activated, and we are able to shine the spotlight on the solution that you've put there. We then have an even more exhilarating experience of getting to feel you come into alignment with what you put there. And that happened all day long here today. We felt you again and again, not 100% in 100% of cases, but the majority of what was going on in this room took you again.